Hey everyone, it's Eddie from ImpelPro. We're in the classroom today. We're going to be doing one of my new series, the ImpelPro Go Basics. So we're going to break down the simplistic way to understand complex systems. So here we have a seawater inlet, here a seawater valve. From here it goes through the hose, following the arrows, into our sea strainer, which there's a lot of different kinds of sea strainers, but this one, let's call it a basket strainer. It's going to go from the outside in. From there, we're going to go up, following our arrows through our hose again, over to our impeller pump, which is move and flow this way. Out of our impeller pump, we're going to go through our hose again, into our very basic heat exchanger, and we can say that we have a coolant out and a coolant in, and then from there it goes back to C. So let's go ahead and break this down into the most simplest version that we can make with it. Seawater in, seawater inlet. You might have a valve that is right on the hole, or you could have something that is, let's say, remote mounted further up. So it might look something like up here, a valve handle on it. So our hose would come up here. So it doesn't have to be on the hole, but you're going to find one that's very close to the beginning of your seawater in. From the seawater in, we have a strainer. So with all the makes and models of strainers, yours might not look like this, but it's probably fair to say that you have an inlet and an outlet, and most of the time your inlet is going to bring water on the outside of your filter. So if you bring water from the outside of your filter in, you have more surface area, so more room to catch seaweed and silt and mud or shells, depending on how shallow you are. So from there, that's going to be our first level of protection. We're going to go out, we're going to go over into the inlet of our impeller pump. So with our impeller pump, all of this flow is currently being sucked through here, and then once it gets to here, we are making a positive flow. So this pump is there to make flow. If we have a restriction on the outlet side, or let's say if we decide to run our impeller dry and now we lose, let's say, this one and part of this one. So these are gone. This is not going to stop those from going into our heat exchanger. So with our heat exchanger, if you imagine a basic tube style heat exchanger, you have your seawater going through on one side, and you have your coolant coming in and out. But you might ask yourself, if we have seawater here and coolant in and out, that they're going to get all mixed together. One of the really cool things about a tube style one is that if this is our seawater coming in, there's a bunch of little tubes that run through here, through our heat exchanger, and then it proceeds to go out. So if we look at it endwise, it's going to look like a planet with a bunch of holes in it, but if it's cleared out, this whole area, you should be able to shine it up to a light and see that it looks like these. So depending on the style or how many there are, they could be smaller or larger, but you're going to have a bunch of these where your seawater is going through the inside of this tube, and then your jacket water, your coolant, is staying on the outside. So the end caps that are here are soldered, and then you'll probably have an O-ring that keeps your seawater from ever touching your coolant. there's a lot of different styles, but to keep this very simple, there's also more components that you might go through for let's say a main engine that has a after cooler, and it might go through a gear cooler, a fuel cooler. But for this example, we'll say that we lost 2 of these. So we caught all of our shells, all of our seaweed, all of our silt, all of our mud, and we're bringing the cleanest water that this filter will allow to keep our impeller pump and the impeller creating flow. But say we don't change our impeller for a few years, it becomes brittle, it breaks off. Now, looking at the end of it, that we might cause some blockages. So now, let's say a third of our tubes don't work. So we know that this isn't going to help, and there's not another filter after here, and now it's stuck here, and now we have our temperature, which normally looks like this. Very happy with no alarms going off, to a engine that might sound an alarm for high water temp, or it might shut off, causing other issues too. Most engines now are smart enough to turn off for you. But if we can keep our arms on here, and we can keep this clean, that will have a free-flowing amount of seawater going through our heat exchanger, allowing the coolant that goes in, that goes the opposite way and back out, to have that heat exchange of cold water or hot water, and it's going to allow it to cool. Especially on generators too, when they are running, they're normally at a rated speed. So this whole system is designed to know that your coolant in and your coolant out is going to take so much cold water to keep that, let's say, at 180 degrees. So if we start to clog it up, we're no longer happy. Our engine's probably off, or we have an alarm. But then how do we know where the blockage is? Is our blockage here? Did we suck up a garbage bag? Or could it be here? Did we get too many shells? Or did we lose part of our impeller, which then went to here and clogged this? If we know that we can keep this clean, and if we can try our best to change this out to a manufacturer's maintenance program, that we're more than likely not going to have impeller here, or parts of it. Another thing that's not on here, which I can get into later, is zincs. But for this, we have, again, seawater in. There's either going to be a valve that is attached to the hole, or somewhere very close by, we have a seawater strainer with our inlet, and our inlet goes to the outside of our filter, goes up through the middle, goes to our outlet, goes into the inlet of our impeller pump. Our impeller's turning, that's going to make our flow. From our flow, we're going to go over, and now we're no longer having a suction this way, we're actually creating a positive flow, and we're going to be pushing water through here, back outside.